And now call to order the August 19th, 2019 meeting of the new Caney Independent School Board of Trustees. Current time is 6:32. Let the minutes show a quorum is present with all members in attendance, with Mr. Mixon being absent. Please rise for the invocation to be given by Ms. Sharp, and remain standing for pledge of allegiance and honor the Texas flag to be led by Mr. Trout.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for being here with us this evening, and Lord, we ask for your wisdom and guidance as we try to figure out what's best for the students, and we do our best to bring you honor and glory. Lord, I ask you to bless these proceedings, and in your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Item 2 on the agenda is a public hearing on 2019 and 2020 budget and 2019 tax rate presented by Ms. Fain.
Okay, we're going to start off with the budget first for 1920 for the general fund, the child nutrition fund, and the debt service fund. Included in this budget for general fund is the employee pay raise that we gave earlier in the year, the 5.5% for 5 or more years of experience for teachers, 5% for 0 to 5 years, and then 4% for all other employees, including the $800 one-time stipend that will be paid out, the $400 and the $400 both semesters. Okay. The property value for this is $4,361,305.375. That is an 8% increase over last year's property value. That's on a 97.5% collection rate is what's included in this budget. Also, this is a little over a 10% decrease in our tax rate. Last year the tax rate was $1.17 for M&O. This year it's $1.684. That's due to the compression from the legislature trying to cut property taxes. So our tax rate that we'll be presenting tonight for M&O is 1.684. For INS is the 50 cents for a total of 1.5684 for taxes. On the general fund budget, we have revenues projected at $157,004,203. Last year, I did a comparison on state revenue and local revenue. Last year, state revenue was 64% of our budget, and state revenue was 35%. This year, the state revenue is 67%, and our local revenue is 32%. So that just kind of shows where our taxes are going down, and the state is picking up the cost of the reduction in the taxes. Our expenditures for general fund is $153,747,853. leaving $3,256,350 surplus. This is a conservative budget. We still have to do full day pre-K with the money that they gave us this year, and then also just trying to do good faith estimates on how they're calculating things. So this is a more conservative budget than what we've had in the past few years. So I do feel comfortable with this. The ADA that we projected this budget on is $14,765. As of today, we are already over that ADA. We projected it on 15,770 kids, and I believe we're at 15,860 something. Okay, so Child Nutrition Fund has a balanced budget, revenue and expenditures, both $9,839,582. On the Debt Service Fund, we have $25,173,623 for revenue, expenditures of $29,608,718 for a drawdown of fund balance of $4,435,095. That does look large, and I just want to tell y'all that we will be adding approximately $4.4 million to the debt service fund balance this year due to the last bond issue that we just sold in August. There was some accrued interest and stuff with premiums that get put directly into the debt service fund to help with cash flow. We had to do this time because with going to current year values instead of prior year values, we lost about $3 million in state funding for the debt service side, and I think Doug talked about that when he was here earlier in the year. So this is a way for him to do the cash flow to meet the debt service needs. So it went into fund balance in 18-19, and it's going to come back out in 19-20. Okay? Are there any questions on the budget for any of those? You also have in your packet, you have the expenditure per pupil based on the function as well as the category. That is a new requirement this year. It's posted on our website, so you can see that. But it's a 3-page, it's yellow and blue, and so you have that shows how much we spend per pupil. You also have a debt schedule that shows the principal and interest payments that we'll be making this year that went in to build the debt service budget. Any questions on the tax rate or the budget? Anybody? Okay. The accelerated education budget is also included in here. And what that is that's just the budget that we have to do for our at-risk students. And by law, we have to budget that before we can budget anything else in the general fund. It is included in the general fund budget. It's just a formality to show it pulled out, and it's done every year.
Are there any other further questions or discussion? Is there a motion to approve the 2019-2020 accelerated education budget? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye. None is opposed. The motion is approved. Item 4 on the agenda is consideration of adoption of the 2019-2020 general fund child nutrition and debt service budget presented by Ms. Fyke.
Okay, I would just request that y'all approve the budget that was just presented during the public hearing.
Any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the adopted the 2019-2020 general fund child nutrition and debt service budget? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item 5 on the agenda is consideration of adoption and set by order resolution of the 2019 tax rate and operation at 0.0684 per 100 presented by Ms. Fain.
I just request that y'all approve the maintenance and operation tax rate at $1.684 per $100 valuation.
Any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the 2019 tax rate for maintenance and operation at $6.84 per 100? Motion has been made and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is approved. Item 6 on the agenda is consideration of adopted set by order resolution of the 2019 tax rate for debt service at 50 cents per 100. Again, Ms. Faye.
Just request that y'all approve the tax rate and set it at 50 cents per $100 valuation for the debt service fund.
Perfect. Any other questions or further comments? Is there a motion to approve the 2019 tax rate for maintenance and operation at 50 cents per 100?
It's not for maintenance and operation.
For debt service.
It's
Wherever that. That's what it says here, sorry.
okay.
You wrote it wrong. Let me mark that out right there. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the 2019 order resolution of the 2019 debt service at 50 cents per 100?
Second.
There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. Item 7 on the agenda is open forum. Thank you, Ms. Fain.
Thank you.
We have one signed up. The board will now hear comments from those persons who have signed up to speak. If someone has signed up to speak for open forum. We have one, Ms. Laura Hanson. Yes. I'm going to read a small little
Disclaimer.
legal, and then you can go from there. So just give me just a second. We'll get through that, and then you guys can, have the form there. So the board encouraged comments from citizens of the district and employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or representatives of the group, may do so at this time. The board asks that the comments pertain to the public education issues and be no longer than 5 minutes. Remember, the board may not discuss any issues that are not posted on the agenda. If any issues mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion until the appropriate time during this meeting. In addition, the board has adopted complaint policies that are designed to secure at the lowest administration level to promote the resolution of complaints and concerns. So, we now have the floor for 5 minutes.
Well, my name is Laura Hansen, and I am the president of EMC Eels Swim Team.
My name is Holly Juno, and I'm on the board for marketing and fundraising. Yes, I'm on the board for the swim team. I also have 4 kids on the swim team.
Do you want to? Yeah.
My name is Brittany Hughes, and I am also on the board for the EMC Eels Swim Team.
Todd Nall, I'm the Porter High School head coach and the Eels coach as well, and I have 2 daughters on the team.
I've got 2 as well. I just came here to thank you guys and just kind of give you a little update. So we had another successful year. Last year was our first year, so I came here afterwards to kind of let you guys know what happened. We were at 146 in 2018, and this year we're at 209. So we were the largest last year as the first year team ever, and we're again the largest again. We won every single regular dual swim meet against other Kingwood primarily teams. We also hosted for the first time divisionals here, which all 6 teams came here and we competed and we won first place against all the teams there. We also went to another swim meet called Trinity. It was the first time ever. Like, they didn't even know I was in the room and we're like, who's this EMC Eels? And I was like, that's us. And we won first place small teams. Out of all the small teams in that area, people were just wondering, where the heck are we coming from? And many of our swimmers, when we went to all competitions, were top swimmers, very competitive at other swim meets. So we're really putting our name on the map. And I just wanted to come here, we wanted to come here and just say thank you for allowing us to use the natatorium, because it's the only swim space we can use in this community, and we're a community team. And I also want to personally thank Mr. Sipe for all of his work with me, because behind the scenes he sat down, gave great advice to keep us out of trouble, and has really helped us out this last swim season and this swim season to be the success that we are. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you to Mr. Sipe for letting us be able to do this for our community. So I wanted to let Mr. Coach Nall here kind of say a few words about the impact of it as well, to say.
I do have a lot. I'm going to keep it brief. I've been here for 10 years now. It's really been a ride here, seeing things develop. But what I will say, being from San Antonio originally, the 2 Kingwood schools and our neighbors have had multiple state championships. They're known statewide. And when I moved out, the first thing I noticed is that I have to refuse to believe that the talent level stops at an imaginary line that you drive past and you can't see. We can't believe that. But what we have been catching up on, and it's been hard, is opportunities to start when you're young. They have it everywhere down there. When I got here and took my first summer leagues, I just had to figure out which Kingwood summer league had the most Porter kids on it and try to go there. And we're talking on a team of 250 kids, 8, 10, 12 kids, and trying to get it up for myself. This does not happen. This team is almost everyone from Caney or Porter. The sprinkling is now other teams. We have 1 kid from Kingwood, 2 from Cleveland who doesn't have a team. But the other 200 plus are all of our kids. And that means a ton for Coach Holloman and myself. And I have to say, that doesn't happen if this board doesn't build a natatorium. It's meant the world to us as coaches. It's been a first-rate facility. And it's only getting better as we add to it and we add equipment. And with Mr. Sipe's vision to see that this was a good thing for our community to add, I can't thank him enough either. This is all, these titles are a nice thing for the kids and happy for them, but just being in the water was huge. Just having that chance to get in. And then they could bring home some titles in their second year of existence. It's just, I'm speechless. And I'm happy for the kids, but that's not some magical coaching advice that I gave. It is everything that started in this room. It started with you guys, it started with Laura. Because if this doesn't happen, we're not growing like we are. The high school teams will start to see this. And it's happening now, we're seeing it. So thank you to everyone. That's why we're here. This is everyone's trophy in this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, we appreciate it. Congratulations. Item A on the agenda is a closed meeting. The board will now meet in closed meeting under the authority of Texas Government Code 551.074, for the purpose of personnel matter, Government Code 551.071, for attorney consultation, Government Code 551.072, for deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Any action as a result for closed session discussion will take place after the board reconvenes. Current time is 6:47. The board ended its closed meeting at 7:53 p.m. and will now reconvene in open session. Item 9 on the agenda is proposals or proposals from any board members. Anybody have anything? Item 10 on the agenda is Superintendents Report. Starting us off, Ms. Schaffner.
Good evening. As you know, last Thursday, TEA released accountability ratings for districts and for campuses. And I shared this information with you in an email, but I wanted to go over it just a little bit. Our district overall rating is an 85 and a B. That's up 9 points from last year. And then on the left side, you can see all of the ratings for each campus. We do have one campus that will be going through the formal school improvement process, and that's Porter Elementary. On the right side is the list of all the distinctions that were earned from our campuses. We had 15 distinctions this year, and every campus that earned a distinction earned one in comparative growth, which is a big deal for us because we weren't focused on the accountability system. This year we were focused more on each student and their growth, wherever they were. And so our goal was growth, and it showed up. You can tell that that was what our goal was. So behind those numbers, of course, are children who set their goals and who were successful. I do want to point out that New Caney Middle School, on the 40 comparison schools that are most like them in the state, New Caney Middle School was #1. That's kind of a big deal. Every school that was exactly like them or close in the state, they were the top of that. So we're super proud of those teachers and those kids and the administrators there, Mr. Holton, and their hard work. If you look on the back, this is a chart that just gives you more information. It shows you our economically disadvantaged numbers, and then it shows you each domain. Everywhere there's blue is an area of growth and improvement. And so there's lots of blue there. We're pretty excited about Sorters Mill, Crippen, Valley Ranch, and New Caney High School. Everywhere you see red numbers, those are double-digit improvements over last year. I also shared with you a sheet that explains the domains, and so it's a little complicated, but this graphic makes it a little bit easier to understand. Our focus for this next year is moving more of our kids. We don't want them just to do okay. We want them to get to the meets and masters level. We're also focusing on relationships with them and social emotional learning and meeting their needs. So that's a focus for us next year. There's a lot of really great things going on in New Caney. I know last week you heard about CTE, dual language, and tonight you'll hear a little bit about fine arts, but we are super proud of what's happening in our classrooms with our kids. Do you have questions for me?
Which campus did you say is going through the
Porter Elementary.
Good job.
Do you have any questions?
Okay.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you're ready.
The pre-K?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as you know, this legislative session, it was changed, the wording from that pre-kindergarten may be operated half or full day to shall be operated full day. I wanted to give you an update on where we are with that and explain our process for that. The commissioner did say that we can file for an exemption if we are required to build more facilities, or if by having full-day pre-K, it limited our numbers of kids that could attend. But before we could do that, before we could build buildings, classroom spaces, one of the requirements is that we look in our community at child care facilities to look to form partnerships with them. And so I listed on this page some of the requirements for child care centers to be able to partner with a local school district. And so you can see those listed there. In our community, we don't have a lot of those, but we do have child care centers that are Texas school ready, and those are listed at the bottom. There were actually 7, but 4 have shown interest in pursuing a partnership with us. The next step would be in September, we're meeting with those child care centers. We're going to develop criteria. We'll look at some interlocal agreements, examples that have been put out by TEA, and that's what we're going to work on in the fall. We will apply for a waiver for full-day pre-K for this year, because we obviously didn't start it. TEA is not making that exemption waiver available until December, and we'll have to apply for it in January. So I know that's a little backwards, but that's our plan, is to move forward pursuing a partnership with some of our child care centers. Any questions? And I put on the back some of what our neighboring school districts are doing, just in case you're curious about that, about how they're doing it. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Up next is Mr. Shooter. Fine Arts Report. Sir, how are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Good. Step up.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about what's happening from a fine arts standpoint. I want to start off with a little staffing update for you guys. We have 71 fine arts staff members in the district right now, and we welcomed 8 new teachers to our district, 2 band directors at New Caney High School, a choir director at New Caney High School. We added a new position, an assistant choir director at Porter High School, theater director at White Oak Middle, art teacher at Woodridge Forest Middle, and a dance teacher that will split her time between White Oak and Woodridge, as well as assist at Porter High School. So a little bit of information about enrollment growth right now in our fine arts programs. All band programs have increased enrollment by an average of 18%. New Caney Middle School Choir has increased their enrollment by 65%. They now have over 160 students in their program. Other choir programs showed minimal growth as well. Orchestra enrollment has increased an average of 22%, with New Caney Middle School increasing their enrollment 45%. And then New Caney High School Theater Program has increased their enrollment by about 12%. So some fine arts initiatives that we are looking forward to as we move forward this year. First and foremost, to increase our digital footprint. So we want to provide easy access for community members to know what's going on from a fine arts standpoint. And we're doing that in a couple of different ways. First of all is our New Caney ISD Fine Arts Facebook page. Many of you have already liked that, so I want to encourage you to do so if you haven't already, and then share that information as well. We also have New Caney Fine Arts Instagram page, which is growing in popularity. So we want to just make sure that we're putting out there for our community to see what's going on. And then working to improve our New Caney ISD Fine Arts website with the assistance from public relations folks. So we're really very excited about that. One of the things that's important for us is kind of a one-stop shop, right? So folks in the community can just go to the New Caney ISD Fine Arts webpage and access all of the information from any school that they're interested in looking into. And then one of the really exciting things that we're looking forward to is initiating the service learning project. So where we take our top kids from those fine arts programs on the high school level and getting them into the elementary programs and actually teaching there as opposed to just performing. Performing is great on the elementary campus, but working in those music classrooms and getting those students engaged from the very, very beginning, as opposed to just waiting until they're in the 5th grade to to then start recruiting, or in the 8th grade to start recruiting. Just getting rid of that word recruiting and focus on service learning. I think it's really important for us. Some things to look forward to and some highlights that happened over the summer. New Caney Middle School 7th grader Samantha Taylor was honored with a red ribbon at the Houston World Series of Dog Shows art show, which was a big deal. And then Woodbridge Forest Middle School Band placed 11th in the state out of 100 middle school bands that are similar in size. So that's pretty doggone impressive. And then just this past Saturday, the New Caney Middle School and Keeper Crossing Middle School percussionist played at the Texans game as welcoming fans in. So that was exciting. So some things to look forward to. We have New Caney High School and Porter High School will join together to sing the national anthem at the Houston Dash game here September 13th. And then Porter High School, as you may have seen, is going to be presenting Cinderella this year for their musical. And then we are in the beginning stages of creating our first annual summer musical theater workshop for children. So looking at working towards engaging our younger kids from a fine arts standpoint over the summer. Excellent. You guys have any questions for me? All right. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you. We got this. Up next is Mr. Powers. Sorry.
Board, we want to give you an update to a program that we're expanding and formalizing a little bit. We're calling it the Star Card. We've been doing this for a while with athletics, sort of informally, and it's providing access to all athletic events and fine arts events to veterans, active duty military, and senior citizens. We built a web presence around this. We're going to sort of put some marketing muscle behind it, included in all of our other platforms. We've created a card. We're going to track the card, and we'll know how many we distribute. We've got a process online now where people can pick up one of these cards, and then the idea, obviously, is to honor veterans, active duty military, and senior citizens. This is available now. Again, we've been doing this for a while. I've worked with Mr. Sipe and Mr. Shooter to kind of formalize this, and we're going to share this with our community in all the ways that we can.
One thing that we've done differently, we've gone to veterans and active duty military, which we've never done before. That was only for senior citizens. And we also opened it up to fine arts rather than just athletics. We think it's a great thing for the community, and we would love for y'all to share that with the community and make sure they know about this. Sites and locations to find those?
We're going to put the cards at all secondary schools. You can also get it at the athletics office or central office, and folks know how to handle that when people reach out.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you. Up next, Mr. Paul. Come up, tell me how safe we're going to be.
My pleasure. Just a few high points on kind of what's been going on in the safety world. Starting with our ACA training video, that's our active threat response video. That's all been distributed to the campuses, and a few of them are starting to show it to their faculty. It's phase 3 of a 4-phase process. We'll be moving into that phase 4 in the fall, where we'll do a little bit of practice and kind of work with the campuses and the staff, make sure they're comfortable with the techniques. We adopted the standard response protocol from the I Love You Guys Foundation as a means to run our drills in preparation for emergency preparedness throughout the district. It's a Texas edition that's supported by the Texas School Safety Center, so we're asking all of our campuses to basically use these protocols to conduct drills, things like evacuation, lockdown. There's a couple of different terms, but it's all the same basic principles. It's a little more standardized and supported and recommended by the Texas School Safety Center, so that's why we made that change. Our first shipment of bleeding control stations as required by House Bill 496 will be arriving this week. We're going to start with prioritizing secondary campuses, and then once we get into the next round of budget money, we'll be ordering the next. And the goal is to get at least one on every single campus before the end of the semester. We just need to place the order and get them installed. So we've already located some locations. Basically, they'll go close to AED cabinet. All it is it's basically 5 tourniquet kits with it's a tourniquet and a wound pack system is what they call a bleeding control kit. So those will be making their ways into our campuses. We've got a schedule set up for our safe and secure audits to go through the fall and the spring semester. We'll complete those, and then we'll turn in the district audit report by August 2020. So the schedule that we've got laid out should put us right on track to go through all our facilities and look at everything, and we'll be using a ton of district administrators to kind of go through all of that, make sure that we're looking at everything. Threat assessment process that's addressed in Senate Bill 11. We've already started working on our process. Went to a workshop here in Region 4 and was able to get some good information, as well as bouncing off a couple of things from the Texas School Safety Center Conference. So we'll continue to further develop that process as a means to help campuses have a better tool to assess threats as they might come in. We've optimized the camera servers for the stadium and transportation. We did a little bit of shifting or whatever, and so we kind of went with a basis of retention of about 6-7 days and just try to make sure that we're optimizing cameras, that they're running on the best servers that we have, and kind of spreading things around. So we're going to continue with that, see if we can make that tweak it, but we can make it as best we can. We've added access control to our support services warehouses and our technology centers, so they have card readers now, so they're a little more they're more secure. You have to badge in and out after hours there. And the last thing I have for you is our district emergency operations plan is translated to the template that's put out by the Texas School Safety Center. The part of that audit process, they're bringing on, looking at that multi-hazard emergency operations plan. So we're going to adopt their template, kind of just making sure everything translates well and be ready for the audit, because we're going to turn that in as a part of the audit, which is not something that's been done in the past. So they have more staff that'll be evaluating that, coming back to us if they see any discrepancies, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the high points for me. I'm happy to take questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Item 11 on the agenda is consideration of consent calendar, consideration of minutes, consideration of financial report, consideration of purchasing reports, consideration of personnel reports, consideration of dry exemption courses, and consideration of 2019-2020 board dates. Are there any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there's none opposed. The motion is approved. Item 12 on the agenda is consideration of district goals presented by Mr. Calvin.
Yes, sir. Now bringing you the 4 district goals that we've adopted in the past. Kind of summarizing each one of those. District 1 talks about student achievement and getting kids ready for post-secondary education. District 2 is all about safety. 3 is about maximizing resources, and 4 is increasing parental involvement, community involvement in all of our educational processes throughout the district. So no change from last year on those goals.
Any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the district goals?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item 13 on the agenda is consideration of approval of superintendent's evaluation instrument. Mr. Coward.
Yes, sir. This is a instrument that we've been working on for quite some time now. But I think we've refined it, we've simplified it, we've made it very effective and very relevant to what the work we're doing in the 1920 school year. So we're presenting that to y'all tonight for approval.
Are there any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the superintendent's evaluation instrument? Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item 14 on the agenda is consideration of the purchase of the parcel of land consisting of 1 acre more or less located near the existing Caney ISD transportation facility to be used as ancillary facilities used for future district needs, presented by Mr. Coward.
Yes, sir. This is a piece of property we've discussed in the past. It is an acre tract of land between the existing facility and Antique Lane right there to the north of our bus barn. So asking for your approval to move forward and do that.
Any other questions or further discussion? Is there a motion to approve the purchase of a parcel of land consisting of 1 acre, more or less located near the existing Caney ISD transportation facility to be used for ancillary facilities used for future district needs?
partial purchase of 1 acre of real property more or less located in the existing New Caney ISD, adjacent near the existing New Caney ISD transportation facility to be used for ancillary facility use for future district needs, and authorize the superintendent or its designee to negotiate and execute the final sale and purchase agreement as well as any related necessary amendments, closing documents, and post-closing documents.
Motion has been moved and seconded. There being no further discussion, a vote will be taken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And none opposed, the motion is approved. There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 8:13.